Have you ever been so tired that you question whether or not you could keep going? Not because you didn't care, but because you gave everything you had and there was nothing left. I've had those days. And if you've been a foster parent for any amount of time, I know that you have too. But here's the crazy part. If I had to do it all over again, I would say yes. What's going on, good people? Welcome back to the Foster Parent Blueprint, where we share real stories, real struggles, real laughter, because none of us were meant to walk this journey alone. Nobody gets into foster parenting because it's easy. We say yes because someone needs us, but after a while, those yeses start to add up. See, when you become a foster parent, we talk about those yeses adding up, right? And so we start thinking about like court dates and school meetings, therapy appointments, and other things like that. Not to mention the behavioral challenges, having to learn a new kid. Like all of these things add up. The sleepless nights add up if you ever had a newborn. Or if you've ever had a kid in your home that you just didn't trust. Like these things all add up. Court dates when you should be at work. Behavioral challenges when you got to go up to the daycare and pick up a kid because they might not be used to being in daycare. They might not be used to having rules in general, rules. And that's where you come in. That's where that yes after yes. Will you be at the court day? Yes. I'll be present, whether it's virtual or there was times when it was in person. Will you show up to the school functions and volunteer at the school? These are yeses. The therapy appointments that these kids need because of the trauma that they may have endured and that they need to work through. This is the yes. These are yeses that continues to add up. Homework that continues to add up. Days where they should be in school and they have teacher development days, cyber days, and other things like that. And you are expected to show up. See, if you didn't have kids of your own, what you miss building up is that stamina for having to care for kids. Like there's a stamina involved in taking care of kids. And now you build up a stamina when you raise your own. But they also know they have an idea about what the expectations are. And so when you have a kid that moves into your home that don't know these expectations, that culturally may have been raised different, because that will happen. Despite you them asking you, and when I say them, that is DFACS or the agency that you may have went through, what your preferences are. And so our second placement, which wasn't, the first one being the emergency, the second one was not one of our preferences. But at the same time, we said yes. We said yes. It was two kids that were not of our same demographic. And you know what? We've had like currently over 20, 25 kids come through our home. And with these two kids, and I think it might be because that was like the first, like not necessarily an emergency placement, but like a long-term placement. We were tired like every day. Every day. I'm talking about we were going to 9 o'clock. We put the kids in bed, we going to bed too. And we had no idea why we were so, we were exhausted. I'm talking about, it was one of those things where we were just, every day, it was something. It was something different that we needed to deal with. It was something different, whether it was dealing with a medical situation that the little boy had, or even like something for me. The little girl was 4 years old and she was wonderful, extremely easy, way ahead of her time. She could have passed for 6, and the boy could have been 4. But with the boy being 4, acting like he was 2, I mean the boy being 6 and acting like he was 2 or 3, like that was exhausting. But when you putting time and energy into helping, and you know what, refurbish is not a good word for this situation, but what you want to do is you trying to build this kid back up. You're trying to fill in some gaps and make it as close to an environment that they can thrive and grow in. And they're not always going to be happy, and that's not always going to be easy. It's going to wear you out. Like I said in the last show, if you're doing it right, it's not going to be easy. It's going to be tiring. That's if you're doing it right. One of the takeaways, and I need you guys to understand this, is that just because you're tired on a regular basis doesn't mean you're failing. Sometimes it just means that you are giving your all. You're one of those people that used to work out. If you still work out, you know what it looks like when you get done working out and your muscles hurt. You sore the next day. If you're doing it right, you're gonna be sore. If you go in there and you go to the gym and you go take a few pictures and do some curls with some weights that's not gonna challenge you at all, you're not gonna get stronger. And you won't be sore. You can say that you went to the gym, but you ain't do much. So we speak of doing things, and you know, here's the thing that can be difficult, right? Is nobody really acknowledges those small victories. There's not an acknowledgement of those small victories, and even with ourselves, we need to remind ourselves that we've come a long, especially if you put in the work in. You come a long way. So if you had a kid that would never go to sleep or would never go to bed, and now they go to bed with no tears, that's a win. Take that dub, stick that in your pocket, save it up, and remind yourself that, hey, you did that. That's something good. You need that win. If you've had days in which, you know what, the kid decided to tell the truth that day, hey, take that win. We have 4 kids in our home right now, and they have by far been some of the most challenging kids that we've ever dealt with. And we have to, in order to make sure that we don't lose it ourselves, we have to remind ourselves that we are doing a good job. People see it. Even when they go out, they're mannerable when they go out. Most of the time, they're likable kids when they feel like being likable kids. And there's other times where it doesn't matter. But when we talk about taking those small victories, teaching the kid that's 4 years old how to count, it's not going to help you, it's going to help them. That's a victory. Helping a kid identify letters at 4 years old. That's a victory. There was a kid that couldn't count to 5 using his fingers at 4 years old. Now he can count to 100 by 1s, 2s, 3s, 5s, 10s. You can count money. This was within a year. He knows a bunch of sight words. These are the things. These are wins. These are wins behaviorally. We used to have crash outs on a weekly. We were having to go up to the daycare to go pick up the kids because they could not make it through a day at daycare. And now we don't have problems at the daycare like that anymore. Every now and then. Not nearly the frequency as before. These are wins. These are wins. Just think about these wins that you can have if a kid opens up and tells you something that they wouldn't normally tell you. Put that in your pocket. Put that in your pocket. Take the win. Take the win. Because if we only look at the things that they can't do, then it's a lot. It's going to be a lot. It's going to feel like it's overwhelming because the emotional toll, like I said, if you're doing it right, the time and the energy that you have to give to somebody else. Like parenting is hard. I can imagine parenting being hard in general if they're your own kids. You add in that they're not your own kids and that the reason why they met you is because something happened. And so you have become the place. You have become the hug that they didn't know that they wanted or needed. You have become that person that they can just sit next to when they couldn't sit next to their parents at home. It's a safe space. It's a small win. You know what? The boys that we have now, they have an expectation that they get a hug every night before they go to bed. This is something that's been new over the last few months. And I don't mind because I know that they need it. I couldn't imagine not being able to hug my mom or not being able to hug my dad when I was a kid. I can't imagine not doing it now. And so for them to ask on a daily basis for their younger sister to have expectation that she get a hug and a kiss on the forehead before she goes to daycare every morning. Small win. Small win. To have somebody come up to you and tell you that your kids are so mannerable. These? Them? All right. That's what's up. But at the same time, you just never know. And you just hope that the work that you're putting in, the work that you are putting in on a day-to-day basis, something is sticking. You just hope. You just hope. You gotta see, the thing is, you have to know that you're doing a good job, even if it don't feel like it. Even if that you are doing and you are telling and you are teaching and you are doing more and you teaching more and you loving on and you giving the hugs and you giving the lessons and they still doing stuff. Just trust me. Something is sticking. They don't want to show it all the time because you're not their person yet. See, they still, as a kid, they still have this thought process that if I like Mr. Jason, then I can't like my dad too. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. I'm not in competition. You're not in competition with their parents. You just do the job that you know you're supposed to do as a parent. Now, our second long-term placement, we had 3 kids, and the baby girl, she cried for the first 3 days that she was in our home. She was like 10, 11 months at the time. She cried 3 days straight. The first 3 days she was in our home, she would not stop crying unless she was 1, eating, 2, sleeping, or 3, with her oldest brother in his lap. But he didn't like that at all because he wanted to play Fortnite. We needed her to be quiet just a little bit. And she would get in the way of him playing Fortnite. Hey, bro, something got to give. Something has to give. And here's the deal. The tough part about having a baby that's crying consistently, you can check her over. Health-wise, everything looks fine, right? Everything looks fine. You know she's fed. The diaper's not full. What's going on? She can't even talk. Can't walk. Can't point. Can't show us nothing. I was writing for another podcast that I do, and I had Marvin Gaye playing in the background. She was sitting at her little high chair, and as I'm writing, she reaches out, grabs my finger, and stops crying. So on day 4, she stopped crying. It was in that moment that she chose Mr. Jason. She was like, Mr. Jason is about to be my person. And they left our home probably about 6 years ago. Right? It's probably about 6 years ago they left our house. And we still see them. She still expects it. She was disappointed one day when she saw me with some other foster kids that we had after they had went home, and she asked the question like, do you still even love me? Do you still even love me? Because I see you picking up them little girls over there. All up in my soul, all up in my little heart, like, dang. Baby girl was crazy about her some Mr. Jason. Asked me to be her daddy one day. Sure. I don't know what to say to this, but yeah, I mean, it ain't gonna change nothing. This little girl has an expectation that I pick her up until she turns 16. And I'm like, hey, that's going to be a little wild. I appreciate that you're happy to see me. But picking you up like you're a baby at 16, it's going to be a little crazy. But it's a victory. It's impact that you make. And it's not really until, like, while you're going through it, you don't see it because you're real close to it. You have to. I implore you to step back from time to time. Just look at what you've done, because that's what matters. That's what matters. You're not gonna fix it all in one day, not in a week, not in a year. You are making a difference if you're doing it right, if you're putting in that effort, if you are present. every day. They need you every day. Every single day. And so we tried the phone experiment one day. And this is when he was going into the 6th grade. He asked me if he could have a phone. Now here's the problem. You give a 10-year-old a phone and you lay down the rules. Listen, you have this phone. Don't do nothing on this phone you don't want me to see. Because I'm going to see it anyway. Now, he don't know I had the Google Voice. The phone number that I allowed him to use was Google Voice that was connected to one of my tablets. So everything he sent, I saw. Don't you go looking up no stuff that's on them sites. I'm going to see it. And so he had this little girl that he called himself liking. We don't do the whole having a girlfriend thing in the 5th grade, but I understand y'all kids, y'all like each other. You got eyes, they work. I get it. I understand it. One day we had a barbecue at the house, and we told him he can invite his little friend. And he's texting back and forth, and he's like, Mr. Jason, she's on the way. Hey, buddy, it's 7:45. Like, it's a little late to be showing up to somebody's barbecue at 7:45, but okay. Mr. Jason, she's showing up in a white Lamborghini. Well, hey bud, hold on. You know what? Let me talk to you for a minute, because if I don't want to say nothing bad about this little girl, but you sure she got a Lamborghini? Yeah, look, it's a Lamborghini right here. And he pulled up the most stockish of Lamborghini pictures anybody could send. And so I'm trying to be cool, because I don't want to diss his girl. This girl that he liked. But he was excited. And this is like, yeah. She's showing up in this Lamborghini. And I'm like, hey, buddy, listen. Does she dress like somebody who's going to show up in the Lamborghini? Because we would have seen this Lamborghini in the drop-off line by now. I don't know. Well, you know what? I will tell you this. Somebody with a little bit of experience, people that drive Lamborghinis, they look like it. Just a little bit. Don't you worry about it. And if they don't look like it, their kids look like it. Trust me. Just trust me on this one. She never showed up. She never showed up. And my boy was so crushed. He was hurt. And you know, as in my role, I am trying not to play or hate her and let him down real easy. Like, hey, she probably not going to show up, especially not in this Lamborghini. And this little girl is talking about how she is dancing in our driveway. And I'm like, hey, little man. She probably not the one that you want to call yourself liking long term. Just, she got some habits. She got some habits. And you know what? The whole thing played out. She ended up not showing up. Ended up trying to reconcile with him by telling him the next morning that she was going to let him get her pregnant in the bathroom at school on the first day of school. And that's where this became a problem. Hey, bud. You got anything in that phone I don't need to see? Now, he had been in there deleting messages, so now it's a disjointed disjointed conversation in this chat where so all these messages coming through, but none of them make sense. It almost looked like the messages that I send myself when I'm trying to remember some things I want to talk about for my other podcasts. I just send it to myself so I don't forget. So anybody that reads it, it looks crazy. But this boy was in there deleting messages, and when he finally told me, he lied first, and then told me the truth after I pressed him a little bit. But I had to get the phone up off of him. Fast forward, probably about 2 years ago, 3 years after they left, they came back by the house, and he sat down, and his little voice was all a little deep and whatnot. Hey, Mr. Jason, I just wanted to tell y'all that I was wilding a little bit. I was wilding a little bit. Like y'all was right about a whole lot of stuff. We've been trying to tell you. We have been trying to tell him. And now he knows that he can talk to me about stuff. He can just hit me up. He hit me up on PlayStation. He texts me, hey, Mr. Jason, I graduate. He graduated this year. Congratulations, buddy. I was super proud of him. But now our relationship is so different now. Because now you don't have to lie. You don't feel like he got to lie to me. But when I told him, yeah, you were wild, and you remember that day? You was totally convinced that little girl was about to pull up in a Lambo, in a bikini. And you didn't want to believe me. Hey, man, I'm only a little bit of a hater. Not a big one, just a little bit. I hate just enough so that you understand that I don't want you to not have fun. I just don't want you to look like a fool while you're trying to have it. And so it's moments like that where the kids go home, but we keep contact with most of them. And keeping contact with them after they've gone home, the relationship is a little different. They still look at you like an authority figure, an adult, as the parental figure. But you change a little bit from foster dad and foster mom to cool uncle and cool auntie. Y'all the cool house now. You're the kicking it spot. Now you're fun. All the fun that they was keeping you from allowing them to have, they're able to have it now. Those moments when you see a kid that you ain't seen in a while and they come up and give you a big hug and they tell you thank you. That's why you keep going. That's why you keep going. See, every day now when I come home from picking up the boys from the daycare, my wife has already picked up the little brother and the little sister. And you know what's dope? Every day when I come home, every day, they stand right at the door of the kitchen. And it's, they scream like they didn't see me this morning. Every day. It is getting that, having that moment with them. And unfortunately, when I go to pick them up and ask them how their day was, it's a competition on who gets picked up first. So I kind of alternate, but at the same time, it's that moment right there makes the rest of my evening so much better. Now, listen, just like the kids, I feel like if that don't happen, I walk in that door and I'm not getting a. Hey, what y'all doing? What's wrong? What happened? Somebody in trouble? Somebody in trouble? I don't even have to be gone a few days for a bowling trip. This is a daily occurrence. I'm here for it. I'm here for it. And it's days like this. It's moments like having a moment with the older kid in which he tells you thank you. And that he admits, yes, when I was living here, I was wilding. That's my bad. You keep going. You keep going because you know you made a difference. You know that you made a difference. You knew that you were making a difference in the moment. You just couldn't see it. When we first started, we never took that moment to step back and be like, look at all that we've done. It wasn't until they were gone. I have realized something. Being a foster parent isn't about changing every child's life. Sometimes it's about changing one moment in that child's life. One safe night, one birthday, one hug, one person that believed in them. If you're a foster parent, I want you to leave a comment. Finish this sentence. Today I'm thankful for. Let's encourage each other. And if nobody has told you recently, thank you. Thank you for opening up your home. Thank you for opening up your heart. Thank you for showing up even on the days that you didn't feel like you had anything left. Thank you. And remember, the goal isn't to be the perfect foster parent. The goal is to become the safe place a child never knew they needed. Before we get off here, I want to do something different today. I want to do a segment called the Blueprint Minute. And in this Blueprint Minute, I want you to think about something. It's something that we've been talking about this whole show, right? And this Blueprint Minute is meant for you to give yourself credit. So before you go to bed tonight, don't focus on everything that didn't get done. Instead, think of one thing you did today that helped the child feel safe, loved, seen, and that is progress. And progress matters. So the idea is to keep stacking progress. And over time, you'll see the growth. You won't be able to help it. But don't forget to give yourself credit for all the things that you have done for this kid that nobody's ever going to say thank you for. Not real time. But you got to thank yourself because you are doing a wonderful thing. And if you are feeling tired, you are exhausted, you are feeling like, hey, I don't know what I'm doing. It's okay. You're not alone. You are not alone. So remember, the goal isn't to be the perfect foster parent. The goal is to become the safe place a child never knew they needed. I am Jason. This is the Foster Parent Blueprint. and I will see you next week. Y'all stay safe out in these streets.
Thank you for tuning in to the Foster Parent Blueprint. We'll see you next time.